microchip shortages and their effects. So what's happening in this industry? Computer chips are everywhere. There are dozens in every car, helping regulate engine temperatures and stabilize suspension systems. They manage water treatment plants, power lines, and internet cables. The modern world runs on them. Currently, there is a global shortage of these, and the automobile industry will suffer greatly. Some analysts predict that this could raise auto costs for consumers and threatens hundreds of thousands of jobs in the American auto industry. Ford Motor Company said it was going to idle a factory in Kentucky this week because of these chip shortages. It has also led to some competitors changing production plans, showing the predicted increase in unemployment is already beginning. Car manufacturers have to compete with each other on top of the rest of the consumer electronics industry. Chips consumers face will be priced higher and have longer lead times. So, where is this global shortage occurring? Currently, two of the largest producers of these semiconductor chips are Global Foundries and TSMC. TSMC is a Taiwanese company that produces 70% of the global auto industry's supply of a key type of chip called a microcontroller. These companies are located, or these factory plants are located in the United States, Germany, Singapore, and Taiwan. The other company, Global Foundries, the chief executive of chipmaker, recalls the auto executive saying, Ford, Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes Benz, Chrysler, and GM, every one of them has become my new best friends since the shortage. The Santa Clara, California headquartered company did its best to ramp up production for car manufacturers at its three biggest factories. But its efforts alone couldn't fix the supply problem that had been building for months as an unprecedented surge of demand far outstripped supplies across the globe, leaving manufacturers of all kinds in the lurch.
So what does this mean for producers? Basically, business is booming overall. It's a huge increase in demand and definitely beneficial to these producers. But at the same time, it's challenges Sam mentioned, and they're struggling to address the changing demand. So TSMC is running about 90% capacity. Intel, another large chip producer, has begun outsourcing some of their designs. TSMC is also boosting their capital investments about 50% this year. And same with Global Foundries Inc. as well. And that's also coming off of a record year from 2021 or 2020 for capital investments. However, creating these factories is extremely expensive and time consuming. TSMC's newest factory was 19.5 billion. But on the flip side, a high entry cost gives them some market power in the form of barriers of entry. And overall, sales are expected to surge about 6% this year, which is nice for them. So going forward, producers, as I mentioned, are ramping up to adjust the surges in demand. The chip shortage also isn't going to resolve itself anytime soon, as sales are booked well into the next year, and it takes time to build factories. It's expected to last at least until the end of 2022. Biden also plans to sign an executive order to direct a government-wide supply chain review to help identify choke points, as there's always a heavy threat relying on Taiwan and other countries for critical parts essential to many of our industries, such as auto, and then as well as the defense industry. So we think there's going to be a move to improve domestic semiconductor manufacturing capabilities in the coming years. But in the meantime, we think auto companies and other chip consumers are going to have to compete for a limited supply until producers are able to meet the levels of demand required and a market equilibrium is reached. So we will see. And these are our sources.